Hello, everyone, and welcome to National Graduate Week webinar with ECITB. I'm Andy from Career Map, and today we'll just be going through what there is to offer for graduates with ECITB, Stats Group, and Sellafield. So remember, there is a Q&A at the end. So if you do have any questions, just drop it in the chat while the presentation is going on, and then we'll come to it at the end of the session. So without further ado, I'll introduce you to Adrian, and he'll kick us off with the webinar.
Good morning, everyone. I'm really pleased you can join us. My name's Adrian Wookey. I'm the Head of New Entrants, Training Pathways and Further Education Strategy for the Engineering Construction Industry Training Board. And I'll be hosting this morning's webinar. People that have joined us this morning are Mark Skillen, who's the Education and Skills Manager from Sellafield, and Mark Ali, who's a graduate process commissioning engineer from Sellafield, Andy Buckworth, who is the Training and Competence Manager from Stats Group, and then Yazine Saline and Finley Duthie, who are both graduate engineers with Stats Group. So between all of us, we're hopeful that we will be able to impart some good knowledge, advice, and guidance. So if I could have the next slide, please, Andy. Okay, so I'm going to lead in and give you a little bit of a backdrop to engineering construction, which is the industry that we represent. So engineering construction is a fast-moving, dynamic and exciting industry. It's a cornerstone of Britain's energy and process industries. Companies that work in this industry design, engineer, construct, and at the end of the plant's working life, decommission some of the biggest infrastructure in the countries and overseas. So it's not just UK-wide, it's a global industry. This industry is essential to delivering net zero. So we've got a really important part to play. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the sectors. It's a big industry and it operates across numerous sectors. So it operates across oil and gas, nuclear and renewable, as well as major process industries. And by major process industries, I'm referring to chemicals, pharmaceuticals, food processing, water and waste. So collectively, that really equates to an awful lot of jobs, around about 190,000, and 90,000 of those work with companies that we actively support in the industry. So let's have a look at some of these sectors in a little bit more detail. Let's start with the renewables sector. So the renewables sector is vital because this is what delivers our clean energy, and it uses Earth's natural resources. So by natural resources, I'm referring to things like wind, wave, biomass. Energy from renewables is not only clean, but it's affordable and it's reliable, and it's going to play a major part moving forward in our energy mix. So then we move on to pharmaceuticals. Well, I can't really stress the importance of pharmaceuticals enough, because we need medicine, we need drugs when we get sick. So vital industry, or vital sector within our industry. Then we consider chemicals. So chemicals is a highly diverse sector and it impacts almost every aspect of our daily life. So we can consider things like 3D printing. That's a really good example. Chemicals are used to make various things like rubber. The list goes on. So again, very diverse, very important. Don't really need to say a lot about food and drink. Without food and drink, we would starve. So again, really vital. In fact, point to note that the food and drink is the biggest manufacturing industry in the UK. It's actually bigger than automotive and aerospace combined. So that's a little known fact for you there. Then we move on to power. Power is vital for us, and we're talking about things like power stations and turbines that generate electricity that keep our lights on. And then we move to oil and gas. So oil and gas, again, vital. Did you know that oil and gas products from the oil and gas sector actually go to make smartphones and tablets? So it's not just keeping cars moving and keeping our houses warm. Then we move on to nuclear. So you probably all heard about the big nuclear new build down at Hinkley Point C, and the one that's also being talked about on the east coast of England, which is Sizewell C. So little fact for you here: nuclear actually provides more than 20% of the country's electricity, and it's a reliable and low carbon energy source. So again, vital in the energy mix. And then last but not least, water. Without water, we wouldn't be able to survive. So it's not just drinking water, it's also wastewater services. And that includes things like sewage, which we need for our housing, commercial units and industrial sectors. So that's a little bit of a whistle-stop tour of engineering construction. So the industry contributes up to 100 billion to the UK economy each year. And like I said, it's not just UK, it's global. So it's a fantastic career industry for you if you want to get in and see a little bit of the world, really. Fast moving, lots of opportunities. And ECITB annually fund more than £20 million of training for employers. So I'll be talking more about the ECITB now as we move on to the next slide. Okay, so ECITB, who are we? Well, the ECITB stands for the Engineering Construction Industry Training Board. Now, we're an employer-led statutory skills organisation for the engineering construction industry in GB, Great Britain. So we're sponsored by the Department of Work and Pensions, and we work with central government, ECI companies, training providers and educational bodies to attract, develop, train and qualify people that work in the engineering construction industry. And we cover a wide range of disciplines. So that's everything from project managers right through to welders, pipe fitters and everything in between. So we've got a really important part to play in making sure that the industry has the people and the skills that they need to deliver these key infrastructure projects that we spoke about previously. Okay. So it sounds like a simple job, but actually in our sector or industry, collectively in our sectors, people that work in them have a very diverse range of specialist skilled jobs. So it is quite a complex thing that we do. So our vision, ECITB's vision is to enable a trailblazing engineering industry where critical infrastructure, energy security and net zero ambitions are achieved. And like I said previously, we need to make sure that the industry, people in the industry have the skills, training and qualifications that they need to bring that vision to life. So let's have a look at some annual statistics then. So annually, we support over 1,500 new entrants. So those new entrants come from a variety of backgrounds and they come in at a variety of levels. So that could be graduates, which we'll be talking about today, apprentices, people that come in on pre-apprenticeship programs, or people that we bring in from diverse backgrounds on other pathways into the industry. So 15,000 people annually attend one or more of our technical tests, and a technical test is a test that we give someone to validate their technical competence. Over 30,000 people annually attend our safety passport training, and we administer and certify over 300 people annually through vocational qualifications. So quite a big job. Okay, so if we now move on to the next slide, I'm now going to hand over to Mark Skillen. Now, Mark is very kindly going to tell us about the Sellafield graduate scheme in his capacity as the Education and Skills Manager. So, Mark, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Can I just check that you can hear me okay?
Yep, you're loud and clear, Mark.
Perfect. So yeah, thanks very much for the introduction. I am Mark Skillen. I am the Education and Skills Manager for Sellafield Limited. And I'm going to tell you all a little bit about our graduate scheme and basically what Sellafield has to offer you upon kind of you completing your scheme, your graduate scheme. So basically who we are. So Sellafield Limited, we are based predominantly in the northwest, Cumbria, although we do have an engineering design facility in Warrington, but most of our operations are based in West Cumbria. We are an organisation that is responsible basically for the safe operation and cleanup of the Sellafield site. For those of you that aren't familiar with the Sellafield site, basically decommissioning power station, lots of kind of legacy facilities from when nuclear first started out as a source of power, and not much was really understood about the, I guess, excess left behind from nuclear power stations, leading to quite a lot of cleanup work needing to happen that's never been done before. We work on behalf of the Nuclear Decommissioning Authority, and our primary mission is to safely manage all forms of nuclear waste and decommission, which we have on our site, hundreds of facilities. That is our current main priority, decommissioning these facilities. As I've previously mentioned, something that's never been done before, but across the world. Another part of an element of our mission is to secure nuclear materials. So we receive nuclear material from all across the UK, power stations right across the UK, and we safely kind of make that material safe and store it. That requires a huge amount of expertise, not just within the engineering industry, but kind of a real broad spectrum of skills and technical expertise, which I'll get onto shortly. But basically, we're bringing all that expertise together, world-class skills, innovative technology to solve really complex nuclear problems that haven't been solved before. Next slide, please. Just to give you a little bit of a flavour of one of our current projects, which is around plutonium disposition. So the UK has the largest stockpile of plutonium in the world, 140 tonnes, and this is currently stored at Sellafield. So we have just been commissioned to undertake a project to basically make this plutonium safe and come up with a storage solution for it. Again, going back to my previous point, this requires a huge amount of expertise right across the engineering spectrum, but also project managers. We need people that can facilitate safety for us and make sure that we're doing this in a very, very safe and kind of non-hazardous way. Yeah, huge range of jobs that we need and skills that we need to be able to do this safely. So yeah, this current project, the government has basically decided that it wants to decommission this plutonium, take it out of use, rather than re-energize it and use it for other purposes. So we need to basically come up with a way of doing that. Something that's not been done before, something that's brand new, something that requires innovation, something that requires creativity, and we need technical experts to be able to help us achieve that task, that mission. This will require the construction of huge new nuclear facilities, as well as a geological disposal facility that hasn't been fully designed and commissioned yet. So really exciting project that we're really looking forward to undertaking. Next slide, please. So I talked earlier about the huge range of skills and expertise that we need at Sellafield. A lot of that is related to engineering, design engineers, electrical, mechanical engineers, commissioning experts. You can see there the huge list of expertise that we do need. So at the moment, our graduate programme is orientated around these disciplines, and all are available to those that meet the entry requirements, which are a 2-2 upon leaving university. Our recruitment window is open at the moment. The way to access that is to go onto the Sellafield careers website. So it's as simple as Googling Sellafield careers website, and it's the first one that kind of pops up at the top. So you can kind of explore opportunities through that avenue if this does kind of take your interest. Next slide, please. So in terms of what we have to offer as a company, our graduates start off on a 2-year fixed contract with a starting salary of 42,248. If you're showing the level of competence and the professionalism required, you will be bumped up to 43,198 in your second year. Again, just to emphasize that that's pending that you are showing the kind of competencies that we require our graduates to have. 30 days of annual leave and statutory public holidays on top of that. If you're relocating here from more than 30 miles away, we'll support you with a relocation allowance of £1,400 to help you get settled in. You'll have the opportunity to benefit from an annual bonus of up to £4,000 per year, which is part of our graduate package as well as our full-time employees. And our defined contribution pension scheme will match your input, but the company will match up to 13.5%. We recognise that moving on from university isn't always easy, so we also offer a £2,000 interest-free loan, which you pay back through your monthly salary. And just something to emphasise is we have a really, as it states, quite remarkable track record of developing people, especially within our early careers scheme. So supporting you through professional qualifications, chartership, and long-term career pathways. So Sellafield kind of offers a real range of opportunities within engineering and the other professions that I've highlighted to kind of enhance and expand your skills. Next slide, please. So our graduate program, as I've said, it is a 2-year program, and there's a breakdown here of the various kind of activities that are included within that program. We strive to kind of embed the competencies required to be first and foremost a professional and have the right behaviours to be a nuclear professional within our industry, as well as focusing on obviously your specific discipline. You'll spend most of your time in the workplace, but you will also attend various activities with our graduate development team and various behavioural companies that we buy in to develop you as an individual. So throughout the 2 years, there are kind of lots and lots of opportunities for you to develop as an individual within your required discipline, but as well as kind of an overall professional within the nuclear industry. Once you finish the 2-year graduate scheme, each of our pathways has a career pathway. So the one that I've put on as an example here is for engineering. So when you come off the scheme, you will be labelled as a system engineer, and then there's a clear pathway showing exactly what you need to demonstrate, what experience you need, what qualifications you need to progress all the way through to the head of engineering. Sellafield, fantastic place to work, lots and lots of opportunities, lots and lots of really interesting projects going on that will give you the competency you need within your discipline to progress through your career and have a successful career. I think that's just about it from me. I don't know what you're doing in relation to questions. Happy to take any questions by verbally.
I think we're going to do the questions at the end of the presentations, Mark, but that was fantastic. Thank you. That was a really good insight into Sellafield as a business, but also the graduate journey and opportunities that are available for anyone that wants to join Sellafield. Okay, so I'm now going to hand over to Amar. And Amar is a graduate process commissioning engineer at Sellafield. So now we're going to get a little bit of an insight into what it physically is like for a grad progressing through the Sellafield system. So I'll hand over to Amar now, and Andy, if you could move the slide on for Amar.
Perfect. So good morning, everyone. My name is Amar, and today I'll be talking about my experience as a graduate at Sellafield. I've been a grad at Sellafield for over a year now, and I'm a graduate process engineer in the commissioning capability. That basically means I'm involved in the actual process engineering aspects of commissioning. So just for those of you that don't know, commissioning is the process of making sure that a newly built plant or modified plant is ready to operate safely and effectively. I'm just going to this slide now. So Sellafield, just to add up on what Mark said before, Sellafield, it manages one of the most complex nuclear sites in the UK, and it's located in West Cumbria, and we're responsible for cleaning up and safely managing the UK's nuclear legacy. And what that basically means is that we handle a lot of different tasks. So that can be from decommissioning all nuclear facilities just by taking them apart safely, managing nuclear waste and storing nuclear fuels and material from power stations. This is just to store it and treat it so it doesn't harm people or the environment. And yeah, just making site and West Cumbria, whatever impact that the previous nuclear legacy had, safer for future generations. Next slide, please. So, a bit of context about myself. My background is in chemical engineering, which I studied at the University of Bradford, which is where I'm from. Originally, during my A-levels, I wanted to do accounting, but after some work experience in a reputable accounting firm, I just realized it wasn't for me. I wanted a different application of maths, which I found chemical engineering to have. And after comparing it with the other engineering disciplines, just to make sure, I just realized that chemical engineering was for me. During my final year of university, I applied for this grad scheme at Sellafield and I got accepted. I moved to Cumbria in September last year, and yeah, what really attracted me to this grad scheme was that there was a wide variety of work. Because it's a wide variety of work available, it allowed me to get hands-on experience in different parts of the engineering process and business areas, which was very appealing to me, just because I'm never bored and just always doing something different. There's support through chartership, like Mark mentioned. Sellafield actively helps me with my professional development, and I'm actively working towards my chartership through structured development plans with mentors and extra training. And yeah, just making an impact at a reputable company. So Sellafield is a well-known and respected company in the nuclear and engineering industries. Just working for them allows me to actually make a difference by being part of cleaning up the UK's nuclear legacy and making the environment safer for future generations. And it just really stuck with me. Next slide, please. So for my grad scheme, my experience. So my grad scheme is a 2-year grad scheme split into 4 6-month placements, and this is just to give me the best exposure of the business and by working in different areas of it. And yeah, so it means I can work in different areas that I'm interested in, such as different capabilities. Just a few that Mark mentioned before: engineering design, engineering maintenance, IT, project management. It's just a wide variety. And yeah, in my capability, we can tailor our grad schemes with guidance from our mentor in order to meet our professional development. For example, for my placements, I've been given the freedom to choose what placements I like to do, and I've been doing that by aligning them with my chartership competencies. For example, as a chemical engineer, I follow the IChemE chartership body, so I've been tailoring my placement choices to hit these competencies which I want to target. For example, a placement in project design, in process design, would be good for my A competencies, which is basically applying theoretical and technical knowledge and understanding all of the understanding and applying them to practical situations to reach scientific and technical conclusions. Another example would be doing project management. It'd be good for my C competencies, which is basically to do with interpersonal and leadership and communication skills. So yeah, this all just to emphasize like how working in this grad scheme has been very beneficial for my professional development and yeah, actively working towards getting chartered. Next slide, please. In terms of personal development, I've had the pleasure of completing different activities during the grad scheme. For example, we got grad development days, which is where for a full day, the full graduate cohort will meet and will complete different activities hosted by SL or other companies just to focus on different parts of our development, such as adjusting to office life, communicating with other people from other teams. There's just a lot of stuff we can do. Personally, I really do like these days just because it allows us to meet with other grads that we don't really get the chance to work with and see that often, and just getting an insight of each other's day-to-day working lives and just networking with other people in the business. And it's really helped with transitioning from university to the work life in the grad scheme. Volunteering has also been a big part. So part of our grad scheme, we get to volunteer for different roles in the community. This can range from gardening for local centres, presenting to people like yourselves, or even STEM volunteering, just like educational volunteering, just doing our part in schools, just to educate them on what they can do later on in life, such as this presentation. And yeah, we do all this just to give back to the STEM community and just normal community in general, and inspire future generations to either get into a STEM degree or STEM pathway or join SL's mission. And outward bounds. So this was a week of outdoor challenges and seminars where we set ourselves objectives and try different things. We did this by doing different activities such as hiking, scrounging, and swimming as a teams. And for example, one of the objectives I've set myself was to build my confidence and try new things, which I was scared to do. For example, I'm not a keen swimmer or a very good swimmer, in fact. But on the day when the challenge was presented, me and other members of our team, we worked together to find a way for all of us to swim across the tarn and back, same interval speeds, whatever it was. And yeah, I'm happy to say I completed this objective, and it really did help me build my confidence and apply it to my working life. Yeah, next slide, please. But yeah, just to finish up, being a graduate at Sellafield has been a great journey, strengthening both my professional, personal capabilities and confidence. And the experience has really laid a strong foundation for my future career. It's equipped me with all the skills and mindset that I need to thrive in the nuclear and engineering industries. So it's just really helped me set up everything that I need. Thank you.
That's brilliant. Thanks, Amar. That was really, really insightful. So I think you can all see just what an exciting journey it is entering the industry as a graduate, and how it helps to enrich you both on a professional and personal level. So now I'm going to hand over to Andy Buckworth, who's a training and competence manager for Stats Group. So Andy, over to you.
Yeah, thank you. That was wonderful, Amar. Enjoyed listening to that. So I'm just going to take you all on a bit of a journey through Stats Group. I'm the training and competence manager. I've been in training competence for about 35 years now. Both work for training providers and work for employers in terms of managing training competence within. I've been with Stats Group for 4 years, and I'm just going to take you on a bit of a journey, who we are, what we do, and part of the development of people coming into the business through a graduate programme. Okay, so we're a specialist engineering company and service provider. We've been established now over 25 years. Our primary work involves products and pipeline engineering services, mostly on existing pipelines where we're maintaining those in a safe way through isolations, repair work, etc. The main aims of our business are to enhance safety and environmental performance, reduce system or plant downtime, and we can do that to make a major impact on less emissions for the clients, i.e. we can do isolations that don't involve any venting for the gas or the oil, and ultimately we're there to extend the life of the facility, which again is a very cost-effective way for our clients. We've got some big values. The core values through Stats are about teamwork, respect, delivery and innovation. Next slide. Okay, so as a company, we've now got over 500 employees and we are growing. It's an exciting time within Stats. As you can see from the maps there, our main offices are spread through all main countries in the world, but we do operate in every other country. So as an example, in Abu Dhabi, we'll be serving Kuwait, Oman, etc. In Houston, we do in North America and South America. In the UK, we've got offices in Kendal and in Kintore, but we do our work through the whole of the UK. Okay, we've got 120 new starts just in last year alone, and ambitious plans there and beyond. And at present, we've got about 165 which are based in the UK, and therefore the balance, which is just under 350 based in all the other countries. Next slide. Just a snapshot, you'll recognise some of them colours and logos on there from the UK. Maybe it's not some of those from the national oil companies. I'm not going to explain all of them, but we are a major support to them companies on their pipelines when they require the isolations. Next slide. So I'm just going to take you through a little bit of information and guidance through the graduate program that we've got and what we do. So next slide on that, please. So I've got 3 or 4 slides coming up here. I'm not going to read everything out to you all on that, but some of the key things that we use when we're promoting ourselves to graduates for the recruitment. We talk about technology, who we are and what we do, and a lot of the things that we do, we're very excited to design our own equipment, and then we go through the manufacturing, the build, the testing, and then the operation. We feel we're very strong in caring for people, and I can say that personally. I've worked since 1985 in industry. I joined Stats 4 years ago, and this is the most caring company I've ever worked for. They really are exceptional at developing people, what we do, how we do it, listening and understanding, confidence in people, and supporting them in their goals as well. The rewards are there in terms of salary, but also in terms of career development and moving into new positions. We've now got people right the way through to director level that came in at graduate level within Stats Group. So that statistic alone speaks volumes. And that moves into the career. You know, graduates come in and they're on a 2-year program, which we'll talk about in a second, but we look after them well beyond the 2 years as part of their program. Professional development, we've got our own CPD systems as well as specific programs for apprentices, graduates, etc. We're very much into every person having a professional development program. Amar mentioned for Sellafield about the chartership. We do that as well. Most of our engineers are mechanical, although we do have electrical as well. And we look at the chartership program, but it's not urgent that you drop into that straight away. We will support people on the chartership program from day one, or whether they want to join it in 5 years when they've got experience, or in 10 years. We're quite flexible on that support. And the last point on there is about travel, where we do support, if it suits the person and the business, placements can become available in other countries that we operate as well. Next slide, please. The graduate development scheme, as I've touched on a couple of them things, it's a 2-year program. We have certain points in that program after 6 months where there will be rotations, but we're a little bit flexible on that. If one of our graduates is heavily involved in a design or a project, we will extend that period and then make the switch over as part of the rotation at a suitable time to suit that person. And will we have a mentor? Yes, every graduate has a mentor within the business. Next slide. Just a little bit of an example of the support and exposure. Primarily it will be in projects, design, and one of our departments, which is about test tools that we operate, and all of the competencies are logged, and we've got an online website that we keep a track, and everyone has access to that to see what the journey is. Next slide. Okay, so that's just an overview of the 2-year programme. It involves a key induction programme and then quickly moving in to the graduates being assigned into different phases of their rotational plan, where they will get different mentors through that period. And one of my roles is to make sure that happens. And we touch base on a one-to-one with the graduates on a regular basis, but also every 6 months we have more formal meetings with the mentors and the department managers. And next slide, please. Just an example of logging the objectives. We're very keen for people to make sure that they're capturing what they do, how they do it, etc. And it's all part of the journey in their professional development and significantly helps towards the the chartership programme as well. Thank you. Next slide. So the recruitment process for stats, next slide please. Stats typically begin graduate recruitment in the first quarter of the calendar year, but that's not to say it's always then, it could be at any time. Our vacancies are posted directly on the website and shared through social media, primarily LinkedIn on the social media, but you may see on Facebook and Instagram as well. To apply for a role at Stats, we're looking for a very clear and concise CV detailing educational achievements, experience, interest, career aspirations, etc. And a cover letter. You'll be asked to carry out some research into the business, i.e. find out who we are and what we do as well. What does success look like at Stats in the 3 years? Okay, so educational background will help you, but we're not really hung up on a 2-2 or 2-1 or first, etc. We're really interested in the person. And the 3 years, I always say, attitude, attitude, and attitude. If you've got them 3 things, we can give you everything else. We don't expect anybody to join us and know exactly who we are, what we do, how we do it, etc. and be perfect. It's our job to develop the person through that on a programme. There must be flexibility, but I will highlight there's endless opportunities within the business. And it's not just all about engineering, you know, there's safety, environment, planning, finance, logistics, HR, IT, digital, quality control, etc. All roles within Stats. Next slide, please. So the next steps, we haven't got any vacancies showing just at the very moment, but that may change by tomorrow, it may change next week, it may change next month. So all I ask is, as I mentioned, have a look on our website and have a look on LinkedIn, and that's where you'll see them. Okay, next slide. So thank you. The questions are going to come later, but we're going to pass on to a couple of our graduates now to move into have a little bit of chat about themselves. Thank you. Okay,
fantastic. Thank you, Andy. That was brilliant. So we've now got Yazine and Finley, who are both graduate engineers at Stats, and they're going to give you some useful hints, tips, and hacks on how to get your graduateship in place and move into industry. So over to you guys, please. If we could move the slides along, Andy, that'd be fantastic.
Hello everyone, I am Yassine. I just wanted to share a couple things that I wish I knew while I was looking for a job in university. Because let's be honest, right? Searching for a job while you're a graduate, it's a tough nut to crack. There's a lot of doom and gloom, a lot of volatility surrounding us. And one of the things that I'd highly recommend is to help you navigate this is to pick a select few sectors that you can be really passionate about and you're very excited to pursue a career in. And what this helps you do is identify the language of the industry, which would then help you tailor your CV when it comes to the application stage. So think of, the big employers in a specific industry, say if it's oil and gas, the BPs, the Shell, and then sort of look at the supply chain, look at the first tier vendors to those companies, the second tier, and so on. So this helps you develop an overall picture of the sector and what are the key characteristics a key applicant would require. The next thing, And the most important thing is, if a vacancy becomes available, is to make sure that you apply early, right? Let's be honest here. Recruiters are overwhelmed by the CVs that they receive, especially on a graduate level. So what helps you get noticed? And in my experience so far, it's been applying early as possible. The second thing is to network, because it really does make an impact. One of the reasons how I got to know about the Stats graduate program was actually through a mentor that I met at university, who happened to know a recruiter who was looking at graduate CVs at the time. You see, you never know who's going to open that door for you. So always make sure you're out there, you're speaking with people, and you're making meaningful connections. The third one is to say yes, right? Sign up for that volunteering role. Be a member of the committee at your student society. Be a part of charity. Because again, you never know, even if certain opportunities do not really align with your long-term aspirations, there are a lot of valuable things that you will learn just because you're a part of something, right? So what I'm trying to say is make things happen. Build impact, build a story which would then help you stand out from the pool of applicants. The fourth one, and if you have not taken anything from this, from my presentation, just make sure it is this one, which is ask for the job. During your interview process, at the very end, most often than not, the interview panel would give you the space to ask if you have any questions. And my biggest life hack so far is to end the meeting on a high, right? And it's exactly by saying this, hey, this sounds like an exciting opportunity. And based on our conversation, I think it really aligns strongly with the experience and the skill set that I've built so far. I do have to be honest, there are a few areas where I feel like I can still grow, and this is my plan on achieving them. I really enjoyed learning more about the role, and if you're willing to make me an offer, I am confident that I can add value and keep developing within your team. I feel like this is a magic line, and in my personal experience so far, the success rate has been 90%, not just for my current graduate role, but other part-time roles that I also had during university. I think it gives the interviewer an impression that you are willing to do anything and everything to succeed within that role. Those are my 4 nuggets of wisdom. I'm chronically available on LinkedIn, so feel free to find me there. Wish you good luck with your journey.
Thank you, Yassine. That was very good. So my name is Finlay Duthie. I graduated with a mechanical engineering degree just over a year ago and joined Stats as a graduate engineer. And I'm here today to speak about what I get up to as a graduate at Stats Group. So as part of my graduate role, I'll rotate through various departments such as projects, design, and the workshop to gain a broader understanding of our operations and grow within the company. When I first joined Stats, I was joined as part of the project engineering department, where I was based for just over a year. I joined as part of a team consisting of a project manager and other project engineers. At first, I helped on various parts of projects that the team was working on. This includes some of the notes you can see on the slides, such as generating documents like procedures and risk assessments, and also identifying procurement and manufacturing requirements and coordinating the delivery of them. After a few months, I was given my own project to work on and being the focal point of it, meaning I would liaise with the client. On the slide, you will see a summary of what you will do on a project from start to finish. So reviewing the project scopes, this is where you will review what is required to deliver the project successfully and the costs involved. This is where you can review the cost budget and identify how much you can spend and where to ensure a good profit margin is met. Then you would have to start generating documents such as procedures, risk assessments, schedules, sometimes weekly reports updating the client on the progress of the project. Then you'd move on to procurement and manufacturing requirements, having to identify long leads and ensuring they're ordered early to make sure there are no delays to the project. You also will have to attend and conduct internal meetings, for example, with the design team to do design reviews, and also external meetings with the client and sometimes even suppliers. Then you also have to organize factory acceptance testing, where the tools will be undergo testing in a scenario like it will on the job. For example, one of our isolation tools will have to be tested in a pipe that's the same size and pressurized to 1.1 times the pressure it will undergo during the life scope to ensure it's fit for purpose. After testing, the mobilization of equipment is organized, where all ancillaries have to be identified to ensure the techs on site are able to successfully deliver the job. Once all equipment is at the site and the job is live, the techs on site will have to be assisted, answering questions and sometimes generating deviations to the procedure being used. Finally, once the scope has been successfully delivered, the closeout presentation is created, identifying costs, profits, and lessons learned. So to summarize what I've done as a graduate, it's a lot of everything, which I believe is good, as exposure to all operation helps me learn and grow the most. Next slide. So from my year as a graduate, I would say these skills on the slides, planning, time management, collaboration, teamwork, and presenting skills have helped me the most, and I believe they can be learned and used in many degrees and many jobs. And I believe these have helped me the most as a graduate engineer. That's all from me. Thank you.
Wow, that was really, really insightful. That was a great presentation, guys, and some really good hacks there for potential engineering grads to consider. So we're now going to go into a little bit of a question period. If you any external attendees, please drop any questions into the chat and we'll cover them. But we have got some questions that I'm going to start to sort of allocate round. So presenters, on your toes. Here we go. So the first one I'm going to ask Amar. That was a really interesting and insightful presentation that you did, and you spoke about overcoming things that you weren't confident about. What would you say, in your opinion, was a challenge that you faced early in your career, and how did you overcome it?
I think Amar has just left the room. So,
Okay.
he's back. There you go. So you might want to ask that one again.
Okay, so Amar, I don't know if you got that. You spoke. You had a really insightful presentation, and you spoke about swimming across the Tarn and about how that developed you as a person. I was just asking, were there any specific challenges you faced early in your career, and if there were, how did you overcome them? Okay, I think Amar's having some connectivity issues, right? So I'm going to move on now, and I'm going to go to Finlay and Yazine. I'm not really bothered which one of you answers this, but I would just like to ask, from a career perspective in Stats Group, what does your career pathway look like once you've completed your graduate program? Where can you go? What sort of levels can you hit? What's your aspirations? What's the next 5 to 10 years look like?
I think one of the best things about Stats is, given the size of the company, we are small but incredibly growing, not just within the UK but outside UK as well. So the opportunities are endless, and I feel like once you go through the graduate rotation program, you sort of find an inclination towards a particular kind of role. And I think Stats as a company is very supportive of supporting your aspirations. And sometimes for other graduates, it's also about when they initially get recruited, they are put in a home base, which is, for example, it could be project engineering or it could be design. And once they go through the whole rotation program, they sort of end back in the home department, and for a lot of them it has worked quite well for them, just because they've gathered a lot of skill sets and they feel like they'll be able to make a lot of impact in the department that they started with. I don't know if Finlay wants to add anything to it.
No, I would agree. Like like Andy was saying, like we have directors who are initially joined as graduates as well. The general manager of the UK here is also joined as a graduate. So I think it shows that there is a good pathway here and you can progress quite well.
I like the idea of the fact that you get rotated through different departments as part of your graduate journey. And I guess that's really powerful, because that allows you to look at areas in the business and diverse skills pathways that you hadn't considered. So that's really interesting. Thanks for that, guys.
I'll take this time to say, remember, it is recorded. So if you do miss anything in the slides, it'll be on the Career Map YouTube within a few days, on a couple of days, and then you can go and just watch through if there's any points that you've missed or you want to catch up on.